Welcome to the House of Horrors, where every story whispers from the shadows, and every sound hides something watching you back. You're here at the perfect time. Maybe it's midnight where you are. Or maybe you're watching from the other side of the world. But no matter the hour, darkness always finds you. If you dare to stay, turn off the lights, turn up the volume, and don't forget to subscribe. And also tell us where are you watching from and what time is it there? So let's begin. New Mexico. A state known for endless deserts, isolated highways, and towns that feel forgotten by time. But beneath the silence, there are stories people don't tell easily. Not because they are scary, but because they feel unfinished. Tonight, you will hear 5 disturbing real-life horror stories from New Mexico. These are not legends. These are not movies. These are events that were reported, recorded, and quietly forgotten. The desert that went silent. In early 2014, 2 experienced hikers, Mark and Daniel, set out to explore a remote stretch of desert in northern New Mexico. This was not their first trip. They were familiar with desert conditions. They had GPS devices, radios, and enough supplies for several days. At first, everything was normal. The wind moved gently through the sand. Footsteps echoed softly. Insects could be heard beneath the rocks. Then, without warning, everything stopped. 3-second pause. No wind. No movement. No sound at all. Daniel later described it as standing inside a photograph. They checked their equipment. Both GPS devices were working. Until suddenly, they weren't. The screens froze. Then went black. That was when Mark heard it. His name. Not shouted. Not whispered. Spoken calmly. Right behind him. Pause. He turned around. There was no one there. Daniel claimed he heard it too. The same voice. The same tone. Then the silence broke. Not with sound, but with pressure. Both men reported feeling as if the air had become heavy. Hard to breathe. Panic set in. They began walking back, the way they came. But the landscape looked wrong. Familiar rock formations were gone. Shadows didn't match the sun. And when Daniel looked down, he noticed something that still haunts search teams to this day. Their footprints in the sand ended abruptly. As if they had both simply vanished from that spot. Long pause. Days later, rescue teams found Mark alive. Dehydrated. Disoriented. He was found 23 miles away from where he disappeared. Daniel was never found. Mark refused to speak about the incident. The only thing he ever said was, "The desert noticed us." The phone call after death. Late one night outside Albuquerque, a single vehicle accident occurred on a quiet road. The driver, a man in his early 30s, was pronounced dead at the scene. No suspicious circumstances. No missing time. Official cause of death: instant impact. The man's phone was recovered from the wreckage. Cracked. Unresponsive. Police logged it as destroyed. The case was closed. Pause. At 2:14 a.m., his mother's phone rang. She missed the call. The number was her son's. Assuming it was a glitch, she ignored it. Minutes later, another call came through. This time, it left a voicemail. Slow pause. The voicemail contained no words. Only breathing. Slow. Strained. And then a sentence, spoken quietly. "I didn't leave." Phone records confirmed the call originated from the same device found at the crash site. A device with no battery. Police attempted to recreate the call. They couldn't. The voicemail still exists. Family members refuse to listen to it again. They say the breathing Doesn't sound human. The motel room no one sleeps in. Along the New Mexico stretch of Route 66, there is a roadside motel that looks ordinary during the day. But Room 17 has a reputation. Guests who stayed there reported the same sequence of events. It always begins after midnight. First, the sound of footsteps above the ceiling. There is no second floor. Then, the feeling of being watched. Not imagined. Physically felt. Several guests described waking up, unable to move. Their eyes open. And a shadow standing beside the bed. Not approaching. Not leaving. Just watching. Pause. One guest claimed the shadow leaned closer and whispered, "You're in my room." Every guest checked out early. Some left personal belongings behind. The motel owner eventually sealed Room 17. No reservations. No exceptions. But the lights inside are sometimes seen turned on. Even though the room has no power. The voice from the canyon. In the remote rural areas of New Mexico, there are canyons that stretch for miles, hidden from the usual maps, untouched by most travelers. It was in one of these canyons that a group of friends decided to camp one weekend in 2017. They were young, adventurous, and eager to explore. Backpacks loaded with supplies, tents packed neatly, cameras ready to capture the scenic desert landscape. It all seemed perfectly normal at first. Pause, 3 seconds. The day was hot, as most New Mexico afternoons are. The sun was bright, reflecting off the rock formations, making the colors of the canyon walls glow red and orange. But as evening approached, the temperature dropped suddenly. The wind began to howl softly through the canyon. It carried with it the faint smell of dry earth and dust. The friends made a small campfire near a flat ledge, overlooking the canyon floor. They laughed, shared stories, and took pictures of the breathtaking sunset. Everything seemed safe. Everything seemed normal. Long pause, 4 seconds, but as darkness fell, an eerie stillness descended over the canyon. Not a bird sang. Not an insect chirped. Even the crackling of their fire seemed muted, as if the canyon itself had swallowed all sound. Then, around 11:30 p.m., one of them, Jason, heard something. A voice. At first, he thought it was one of his friends joking. But the voice was different. Clear. Familiar. It called his name. Pause, 3 seconds. Jason. He froze. The voice didn't come from where anyone could be standing. It didn't echo from the canyon walls. It seemed closer than it should be. He turned toward the canyon floor. No one. Just shadows and the faint outline of rocks in the moonlight. He called out, trying to laugh it off. "Very funny. Who's there?" No response. Only silence. Pause, 2 seconds. Then the voice came again. This time, not just saying his name. It repeated a single phrase. "Come closer." Jason's heart started racing. He could feel the hairs on the back of his neck standing up. Every instinct screamed at him to run. The friends noticed his panic. They assumed he was joking. Until they heard it too. One of them, Maria, grabbed her phone and hit record. As soon as she did, the voice stopped. Pause, 3 seconds. The friends huddled together, unsure of what to do. Minutes felt like hours. The wind had stopped. The fire's crackle was suddenly louder in the unnatural silence. When they played back the recording, they realized something terrifying. The voice wasn't coming from the canyon at all. It was directly behind the microphone. Even though no one had been behind them. No one could have been. The recording captured slow, heavy breathing. Not from any of the friends. Not from anyone nearby. Long pause, 4 seconds. Terrified, they packed their things immediately. They left everything behind. No one dared to look back. On their way out, they felt as if the shadows of the canyon itself were moving around them. Not physical movement, just pressure, a sense of presence, as if invisible eyes followed their every step. Some say the canyon can trap the sound of voices. Some say it plays tricks on the mind. But these recordings were real. And the phenomenon wasn't just psychological. To this day, locals warn travelers never to camp in that canyon. They claim that the voice can call your name. And if you answer, it will follow you long after you leave. Pause, 5 seconds. Even when listening to the recording in a safe place, Jason says he can still feel the presence. The same weight. The same silence. And the faint whisper. Come closer. A warning? A lure? No one knows. The town that went quiet. Deep in the deserts of New Mexico, there is a town that appears on old maps. It is small, almost forgotten. On paper, it exists. But those who try to visit it often return shaken. Or never return at all. Pause, 3 seconds. The town looks ordinary from a distance. Dusty streets lined with low, crumbling buildings. Signs swing in the wind. Windows are broken or boarded up. At first glance, it seems abandoned, yet there is something odd about it. No birds sing. No insects buzz. No dogs bark. Even the wind feels muted. Long pause, 4 seconds. Visitors who drive down the main road describe a creeping sensation. A pressure in the air, like the town itself is holding its breath. Cars often stall inexplicably. GPS systems fail. Radios and phones cut out. One family tried to spend the night while passing through. They pulled into the empty motel at the town's edge. The moment they stepped out of the car, they felt eyes on them. No one was there, but they could feel it. Pause, 2 seconds. As night fell, the temperature dropped sharply. The desert air was cold, but here, it felt unnaturally cold. The family set up a small campfire, trying to feel safe. But as soon as the fire crackled, a distant light flickered in one of the abandoned houses. Slow. Faint. As if someone, or something, was watching them. Pause, 3 seconds. At first, the children laughed, thinking it was part of the town's eerie charm. But the laughter quickly faded when the father saw a movement in the window. A figure. Standing perfectly still. Staring. The family tried to leave. The car wouldn't start. The keys seemed to vanish in their hands. Pause, 2 seconds. Hours passed. The fire went out. The temperature dropped further. The family huddled together, afraid to move. Then, doors creaked. Slowly. Throughout the town. No wind. No one else visible. Just doors opening and closing. As if the town itself were alive. Long pause, 4 seconds. By morning, the family finally got their car to start. They left without looking back. When they later told locals about their experience, most refused to talk. The few who did described the town in a single sentence. It's waiting for you. Even when visited during the day, people say the town feels wrong. Still. Silent. And sometimes, when passing after sunset, lights flicker inside abandoned homes. Not electric. Not connected. They appear. As if someone, or something, is moving inside. Pause, 3 seconds. Local authorities deny the town exists. Maps call it a ghost town. But even maps are inconsistent. Some years it appears. Some years it does not. Visitors who drive nearby report feeling watched. A pressure that follows them. Shadows that do not match anything in the landscape. Long pause, 4 seconds. It is a place that is not quite alive. And not quite dead. A town that seems to exist outside normal rules of reality. And if you wander there at night, locals warn, you might not leave the same. Long pause, 5 seconds. Even now, decades later, stories continue to emerge. Lights turning on inside abandoned buildings. Voices calling from empty streets. Doors closing behind unseen footsteps. The town, it seems, is patient. It waits for the next traveler to step inside and discover the quiet for themselves. So guys, thanks for watching House of Horrors. If you enjoyed this descent into darkness, Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell, so you never miss another nightmare. Signing off.